Welcome to the Rollin' Homies channel. In this video, I'm going to be installing the Victron Energy 100 amp auto transformer so that I can get 240 volts out of the Onan 5500 watt 120 volt onboard generator. The main reason we want to install the auto transformer is because the Onan generator output is only 120 volts. Now there are two separate 30 amp legs, but these are both off of the same phase. Now this generator was pre-installed with the neutrals combined and the two individual legs of 120 volts being separated. And looking here at the transfer switch right there, you can see that the generator side has a single input coming in from the generator with just one neutral. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean up some of this wire mess here. One thing is for sure about trailer companies is they're never really that good at wire management. Well, that's better. So this compartment, this is just paneling, and then there's 2x4s or maybe 2x2s just in a couple locations. So I'm not going to be able to put this anywhere in here without first adding some sort of backer and then attaching the mounting bracket to it. So anytime I do a backer wall, I prefer carpet. That's just me. That's what I'm going to do. And it doesn't usually take that long to do. And with it being so dry and hot here, and voila, just like that, a nice carpeted backer. So I'm going to go ahead and size up the auto transformer first. Now I know that one of the main areas I'm going to have to attach to are in this area, so I want to keep it kind of low. The other area of attachment is in here somewhere, so probably just come in right there somewhere. So I'll just be using my own panhead screws here. I love these screws for pretty much all of my installations and everything involved with it. Now we'll just size things up, see how it lands on there. So now we're going to take this piece and go install it on the bulkhead of the fifth wheel. So I just used some number 6 drywall screws. It's plenty strong. These are 1 5/8", so that is going to be just enough to attach. And what I'm basically going to do is just kind of put a couple So I'm just going to find my stud by drilling straight through the panel. Luckily, you can kind of fill it out and get an idea of where it's going to be. There we go. What I really like about using the drywall screws is they kind of disappear in the carpet. So I'm just going to make things a little bit easier on myself by pre-wiring this unit before I stick it into that little compartment area. I am going to be using all number 6 wire. This is all SOO wire. And for the input side, that I will be combining the 120 volt lines from the generator together, I will be using 6.3. And on the output side, I will be using 6.4. Now I've just made a pigtail there for the ground, and I'm going to connect all of my ground wires together, including the case ground from the autotransformer. And then I'll just tape that all up and stick it in the back of the case area. So on the output side, I'm going to start by taking the neutrals. Actually, what I'm doing there with the ground wires is just putting black tape on the wire nut so that I don't have to worry about the wire nut vibrating loose. And then here I'm just wrapping the ground wires together so that it's just easier to feed them into that ground terminal. So next I'm going to work on the neutrals, and once again I'm going to be making a pigtail here. So I will combine all of the neutrals together, and they will get stuck in the neutral side of the input there. And once again, just taping everything together to keep it from squirming around on me while I'm getting the wire nut on there. And then black tape on the wire nut again to keep it from vibrating loose. Tucking it into the back of the autotransformer area. And then I just have one single input line going into the neutral terminal on the input. Then lastly, just going to work on the L1 and L2. So the black wire is going to get stripped and stuck on the L1 side. And there I am attaching the red wire on the L2 side. Pretty easy peasy. And then we can just go stick it on the bulkhead and get it wired up. And here is a close-up of how things look. Okay, so I've got the unit wired up. So looking in the junction box, yes, it's kind of a mess, but so this is the input, both the 30 input, L1, L2, single phase, and that is coming out into the 120 volt input, and then the neutral is tied into the neutral input of the generator, which is right here. And then I have it pigtailed inside the unit and going into the neutral. So in the output, I have my grounds tied in together on the ground. I also have my case ground tied into that. And then I have the L1, L2, both coming out. And they are split to each one of the inputs to the multipluses. Now these go over to the transfer switch. So these will go through the transfer switch first and then out to the multipluses. So looking here at the transfer switch, you can already see this side is indented, which means the transfer switch is already accepting the power, but we're going to go ahead and test voltage to see what it's like. Okay, so I got my multimeter up there. We're just going to test the input power coming in. So line to line. So line to line and 247, so that's really good. On the output side, right here, 247. So currently the inverters are on invert only because I wanted to make sure that they would not take any kind of, well, I didn't want to put any stress on them whenever I decided to test all this. All right, so we are inside the unit now, and the first thing I'm going to do is lower the AC input. Now, if this was a Quattro, you could have this already preset for the generator side and the shoreline side, but you have to do this every time with a multi-plus unit. So now we're going to go over to AC mode on, and there we have a connection. And then we have everything working together. So I've turned on the other AC unit. We've got just over 2,500 watts coming out of the AC panel here. I've got about 4,500 watts coming out of the generator. We are bulk charging, so you can see we've got one air conditioner that is cycling off and on. Then over here with the PV input, we've got right around 4,200 watts off and on with everything. All right, so we got everything closed up and looking nice and tidy. So that's really going to be the best way to get 240 volt out of your single phase 120 volt Onan generator. And the value here is that you are able to use both inverters to charge versus just one and the other being the slave and assisting with extra loads. Hopefully this video will be a big help for you when it comes time for you to do your split phase system.